Okay, so you have this group together, it got down to a few less members, and you guys sign a major label deal.
Yeah.
What led up? And this was with a Chrysalis?
Yeah, with Chrysalis, yeah.
Chrysalis, sorry.
Yeah.
How did you guys get that deal?
I was managed by Michael Malden, who's Jermaine Dupri's dad, and him and another brother named Phil Calloway, and another guy named Bart Phillips. So they had a management firm, and basically they started managing us a while ago, and they were shopping us to various labels, and we were getting turned down left and right. And the only label, the one and only label that was wanting to do a deal with us was Chrysalis. And so we was like, well, of course, and they did a single deal with us. And that's how we first got introduced to Chrysalis. And who was on Chrysalis at the time was great because it was Gangstar, who we were huge fans, still are fans of Gangstar. So it was a good look for us. And of course, Blondie, there was other, rock groups and pop acts that were on Chrysalis, but hip hop wise, we felt like it was a good look. And later on, D'Angelo would be part of the family and, Diggable Planets would become, so it was a good look for us and very grateful they was willing to sign us.
Okay, so you get the single deal first.
Yeah.
And what was the first single?
It was going to be Mr. Wendel with a B-side of Natural. Yeah.
Okay. And that's what came out first?
It didn't. What ended up happening is, I know, right? So what ended up happening was my grandmother, who I spent all my summers with in Tennessee, passed away of a heart attack. And so my whole family went to Tennessee to celebrate her life. And we were leaving from Tennessee. And that same week, my only brother, Terry, died of an asthma attack. And so the last place I saw both of them was in Tennessee. And so I wrote the song Tennessee, and I was extremely emotional at that time. And the song is like a prayer. And so I wanted that song to come out first instead of Mr. Wendel. And to me, it was the only song that made any sense to come out. And they heard it, loved it, and allowed us to shoot a video for it. They saw the video, and that's what made them want to do a record deal. It was like, yo, we get this group for the first time. Like, to see us visually, they got it. You know what I mean?
Right, because I never realized until going through these notes that line in that song, my grandma passed, my brother's gone, I never at once felt so alone.
Yeah.
I just thought you were just rapping, but that's based on reality.
No doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, which I guess is what made that song that much more profound.
It will always be the most profound song that I would write because of the realities of my grandmother and my brother. And then even take me to another place, take me to another land, make me forget all that hurts me and help me understand your plan. It's a prayer. So the whole song is about that. It goes other places, where we are as a people, where we need to be, so on and so forth. But the meat of that song is based on their lives.
Okay, so you dropped that song and by the time I heard it, there was already a video and everything else like that. Did that song instantly take off or did it kind of take a while?
It took about 3 months, which I guess is not that long, you know what I mean? But I was worried, I ain't gonna lie, because when it first came out, I think we were like 20. I was like 20. And when it first came out, I went to the record store to check up on it in basically one of the neighborhoods here in Atlanta. And the dude was telling me, yo, only old people are digging this song, like people over 40. And I was 21 or 20, So I was like, we're doomed. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is it. One single, that was it, you know what I'm saying? And I was wrong because thank God MTV had a show called Buzz Clip. And they played the video on Buzz Clip at the time. And that blew the song up. Like, again, I think it was the visuals of seeing us that helped people to relate to the music because the music was so different that seeing us, I think, helped to connect a lot of dots.
Well, that song, how high did it get in the charts?
Number 1 on the rap charts, number 1 on the R&B charts, number 3 on the pop charts. Yeah, so it went extremely high.
Okay, so you go from this struggling kid in Atlanta to suddenly having a song that's moving with a major label push behind it, and you're actually on your way now.
No doubt.
How did that feel?
Absolutely surreal and crazy. Like, because it's one thing to have success, but it's another thing to have it on your first album when you're only 21, 22, you're new to everything. You're from Milwaukee, so you didn't have no label, experience. You had no big, promotional experience, none of that. You had no other crews that you knew that already made it. Like, I became friends over time with people like De La Soul or Tribe, and these brothers had Jungle Brothers first and Red Alert even before them. And, so they had people that they could look at and be like, yo, okay, they're rolling with this. Let's do this. I didn't have none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Milwaukee had none of that type of success track record.
Yeah. Well, Tennessee
Nor
won
Atlanta,
gold.
by the way. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, because Atlanta, you're right, because the Jermaine Dupri, So Def era came later.
That's after.
Yeah, Atlanta, because I'm thinking like, well, what about Atlanta? But like, nah, you're right. Atlanta at the time was just a small southern city without a bunch of energy around it.
No, it wasn't. In hip hop in particular, there wasn't a lot of energy going on a nationwide, worldwide level. Now, locally, we had acts that we knew about here. You know what I mean? But nah, nationwide, it just wasn't like that.
Well, that song goes gold.
Yep.
And it hits number 6 on the main charts, which is a pretty big deal because hip hop wasn't dominating the charts in 1991 the way that it is now.
Yeah.
To have a rap chart up there, I mean, you're competing against all the pop songs and the rock songs and everything else like that. So now you guys are off to the races.
No doubt. Yep.
But that song sampled Prince's Alphabet Street.
Yeah.
And Prince came to collect.
He did. It's funny because as soon as it came from number 3 or number 6, I forget which number it was, but as soon as it went from 3 to 4, I got a call from Prince's office. And his point was like, yo, this is as high as it's gonna get. This is as much money as it's gonna make pretty much. I'm coming for you now. And like, what's funny is, I don't know if you remember these days, Vlad, but like sampling wasn't really locked in stone just yet how it all should work. And especially for the artists, there wasn't a lot of rules. It was more like the Wild Wild West. And so long story short, I sampled one word, which was Tennessee. And it was from Alphabet Street. And so I felt like it's safe. It's one word. You had these rumors about, it's less than 3 seconds, you're good, and all of this type of stuff. And so, yeah, when he came for us, at first I thought it was a major, like, exorbitant fee. You know what I mean? I was like, are you kidding me? Because he charged us $100,000 for the word. But later, after I've been a veteran in this business, I realized that he actually did us a favor because he could have charged us the actual ownership of the song. He could have took it off the shelves like they did to Biz Markie some years prior to us. They took his whole record off the shelf until he got his samples cleared. So there was many things he could have done, and I actually respect him. He's my favorite artist anyway, but I actually really respect what he did in retrospect.
Did you guys ever meet and talk about this in person?
Yeah, we did, actually. I met him at Paisley Park. And him and his wife and my wife. And he's just a total cool dude. Like, I was hoping he would be, because like I said, he's my favorite artist, and he was a totally cool dude. We tried to connect numerous times, but if anybody knows Prince, he would play games, so he would sometimes, like he invited me to Paisley Park one other time, and I get there, and he's hiding behind a one-way mirror, for instance, just looking at us. And the band's whispered in my ear, yo, Prince is here, but he's just looking at you. And I'm just like, what? So I didn't get the way he sort of worked. But we did actually hook up and talk at one of his birthday celebrations, which I guess he didn't really celebrate his birthday, but it was during the week of his birthday.